Hi everyone, Ellen Jaffe Jones, the Veg Coach, and welcome to a most private room of my house, the bathroom. What I want to show you here is what I consume in vitamins on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And the way I make this easy is, because it does take some time, is to get one of these, they call them pill boxes, but I don't take pills. These are supplements. And it's what's been prescribed in a way to me over the years by doctors who have worked with me with my various issues. And I just want to say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what you should be taking. I'm just telling you what I have been taking to deal with, by the age of 70, we get issues, right? And the big thing for me was I've had chest pain since I was 28 years old and decided I would get it checked out by a vegan cardiologist. And she said, let's go through all the testing. And we did. And I got my co-author on vegan sex is a vegan cardiologist, Joel Kahn, and he was really one of the first cardiologists in the country to jump on board getting the cardiac calcium score test. And that measures the amount of calcium traveling in your arteries. And the potential is it could get hung up on some narrowed artery and cause a heart attack or stroke. I did Atkins, I did the South Beach diet, I did the Zone diet, all of these high protein diets that help to lose weight in the short term, but often at the expense of our arteries and our kidneys. So I obviously have done and continue to do lots of running and racing competitively. And my cardiologist said, and others have said, your heart's done its own bypass. And that's what happens. So one of the things that the doctors have suggested for me is to get, first of all, vitamin D, and you would think in the Florida sunshine I would get plenty of it, but of course we have to go outside to do that, and I don't always get outside. So that's one of the things that I take as needed. If I'm out in the sun, I don't take it, but you need the sunlight to produce vitamin D. Now, I use these vitamin packs. I had vitamin boxes. I had 4 of them, but some of the older ones, the flip top kind of broke off. But one of the things I just love using is Terraseed. And these are complete multivitamins for vegans, made by vegans, for vegans. And what's so cool is that it has this wonderful container without a plastic container like all of these back here do. And I'll take 2 of these a day. So as a multivitamin, you might say, well, why do you need a multivitamin if you're such a healthy person? Well, because I've always taken them as insurance, because as a busy traveling author and now realtor, I don't always have an opportunity to eat the daily dozen as Dr. Greger might want us to eat, or just, get my nutrition from a lot of different plant sources. Generally I do, but it's just my insurance policy. It's the one thing I do. Not everybody does. The other thing I do for my arteries is nattokinase. So natto is a kind of bean that I've actually gotten the raw bean and cooked it, and or ordered it pre-cooked, and it's sent in a container that's frozen. Very expensive to do that. And natto, and for whatever reason, anecdotal, whatever you want to call it, it's a natural blood thinner, and there's anecdotal evidence that taking this is equivalent or as good as statins. It's a natural blood thinner. It's a kind of bean that tastes pretty bitter, and in cultures where they consume natto on a regular basis, especially fermented natto, the heart disease is kind of non-existent. Are they doing other things as well? Probably, but my cardiologist and others I've consulted with have said to take this nattokinase. And there are different brands that make it. Sometimes during COVID it was really hard to find. Then the other thing I do is vegan omega-3. So that's going to come from a plant-based source, algae most likely, and I take 1 or 2 of these a day. Just depends on my mood. I'm supposed to, Dr. Kahn suggested I take 2 of these, but we all have a budget. So again, I try to consume it from natural sources, which would be like seaweed, and when I was macrobiotic in my first journey before I became vegetarian then vegan, I ate a macrobiotic diet because my mom and both sisters had breast cancer, and I was terrified of getting breast cancer. And before I was able, our family actually participated in the gene studies, but even as a participant, it was double-blind studies. I never knew whether I had the gene or not until I actually was able to get tested based on our family helping to develop the genetic test for that. Turns out, surprise, surprise, looked just like my dad, did not have the gene. All of the breast cancer is on my mom's side of the family. And, vegans, if we're not eating fish, that's where the omega-3s come from, is from fish. But as I like to say, we go right to the source. We go to the seaweed that the fish are eating, so we don't have to eat the poor fish. And then the last thing that Dr. Kahn and other cardiologists have recommended is CoQ10, something that we, as we get older, our bodies don't produce it, and that is the fourth and final supplement. So I did just want to show you the whole cool thing about Terra Seed. I was thinking Earth, Terra. So they come every month in this package, and no plastic is involved. So all of this packaging, it's not your typical plastic packaging, but it's all biodegradable, and then it comes in a 30-month supply, or 30-day supply rather, and you just tear it open and pop open the bag, and there's all the 30-day supply of vitamins. So just pour it into this cup, and it's got a little preservative packet there, so it keeps it nice and fresh for the 30 days. All of this is in there. So there you go. Very, very cool. And so I'm very grateful for Terra Seed sending me a supply of vitamins, just so that, you know, I wouldn't promote something that I wasn't taking anyway or using. And I have been taking multivitamins all of my adult life as I went through this journey, fearing that I was going to get breast cancer like my sisters, hoping that I didn't, and doing everything I can as preventative measures. And, you know, some people are runners because they think that's their insurance policy, but you really do have to take care of yourself and get tested on these different issues. I get my vitamin D levels tested, and I have had a deficiency at different times, and that has been connected to so many different things, a vitamin D deficiency, that is. And so it's something that, as part of your annual physical, if you get that kind of thing, to stay on top of. And to have your diet be helpful as well and not full of cholesterol. So that was that story in a nutshell. And then there are just other factors that tie into how your blood work comes out. And so I know a number of runners who take statins, and the reports have not been great. Muscle soreness, for one thing, to the extent of people feeling like they have to end their running careers. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to run till I'm 100. And so basically for me, nattokinase is taking the place of statins until then. You know, I have a couple of other doctors who say you should be on statins, but you have to do your own research, and that's really what I want to encourage you to do. I know that I will be a very unhappy customer if I have to give up my running, and at some point I may have to, but my body is still cooperating, and I'm still getting first in my age group, and unless I am shown one way or another, either by force or nature, or, you know, doctors just screaming in my face, you got to do something differently, I'm going to keep up with this regimen. It has worked since I started running at the age of 28, and I'm now 70. So 42 years of vegan runner. Most of that time had a few diversions when I thought the science had changed, but really it was just the marketing that had changed. And what has given me high calcium in my arteries, we're just trying to deal with that in the best way possible without going on the medications, because it's a slippery slope. It's expensive. And if I really thought I needed to do it, I would. I'm not going to be stupid, but I think we also have to be our own advocate for our lifestyle. And I think the people who don't run often don't understand how important it is for those of us who have been doing it for all this time. And, you know, as I like to say, when I tell people I've been a runner for 42 years, they go, "Ooh, your knees." And I go, "Ooh, my knees are just fine, and my joints are fine." And getting the omega-3s from plant-based sources helps with that as well, in addition to eating a healthful vegan diet. So that's the message I just wanted to share with you, and big thanks and shout out to Terra Seed for helping me continue my running addiction and making sure that all of the bases are covered. I just love this little packaging here. All companies should do this. We don't need to be putting plastic in our packaging or anywhere else. And there are some pretty good videos out there on how the oil companies really wanted us hooked on plastic. So look, it just squeezes up into that. How cool is that? So Terra Seed, keep doing the good work. They make a lot. So important to do the best you can while we're here on the planet and try and leave it in as good a shape we can for the next generations. All right, everyone, thanks for watching. Hope you'll stay tuned for our next videos on all kinds of things, natural and healthy and vegan, and of course, real estate, because that's how I really support with my day job, my running addiction. It's expensive to do these races. Some of them are like $50 for a 5K, that's 3 miles. I mean, do I need to spend that money? Well, yes, to keep proving that vegans get enough protein and energy, and I'm now at 284 5K or longer age group awards at a 5K or longer, and you know, my hashtag now is on the way to 300. And that's really my goal, is to just keep running and showing people that you can do it on a vegan diet. You don't necessarily have to come in first. You can come in last. It's all good. But the point is, you can be physically fit and in good health eating a well-balanced, healthy vegan diet. All right, everyone, really now, I got to run.